Hello, everybody, and welcome to the event review for the upcoming event Idle Heroes. This will be for the week of February the 7th, 2025. It is a Prophet Orb week, and Heroic Miracle is as usual. You get Betty in the Heroic Miracle, which, fine. The Prophet Orb rewards are Williams and Sia, which Williams is nice, Sia is pretty meh. And the Fantasy Factory is exactly as usual. The Reverie gift box is back, and it's the same as last time, so there's no Prism Starry Gems in here, but they've added in the Star Soul stuff. And yeah, I don't think it's as good as some of the better Reverie events. Like, it's adding extra types of rewards. The pool thins everything out and means you can't focus as well on the things you want, which is kind of lame. But for late game players who need this stuff, obviously it's nice to get it. So it depends where you are in the game. If you're like late game and have Nirvana heroes, I think the changes are good for you. And if not, then not. But well, that's what it stands right now. And Fragrant Garden Party is here as well. And this is a little similar to what we've seen before, except they've added Prism Starry Gems to it, which is an interesting addition. We'll go through the numbers in a sec, but basically it's similar to what we've seen before. For doing your orbs, you get a total of 5 keys, 6 cores, and 78 orbs, something like that. You also get the cores and the stellar and crystals here, the subs and cores and essence here, and hero copies. And this is your Destiny materials and Reverie keys. Now, interestingly, the Destiny material stuff, it's 1 1 1 1 1, and normally here it goes from 1 to 2 or 3 to 6, like it doubles. But it goes from 1 to 4 and then to 6. So this is actually a little more backloaded than I would have expected. So there's a total of, what would it be, 36 of those? Yeah. Something like that. So there's more of this than you would expect from it starting with ones, but you have to max out the orbs in order to get that, obviously, and you have to spend $200 in order to unlock all these. This is 30, this is 70, and this is 100, and I think you have to unlock them in order. But as you go through it, if you do max out, if you do spend everything, you get an extra 3,600 Prism Starry Gems out of it, which is not a bad reward. If you were to buy that cash, it'd be about $140. In game, not using any special events. So, like, obviously nobody actually pays that for Prism Starry Gems unless they're very unusual. But it is there. And actually similar, sorry, I'm going to circle back for a second, similar to how this went from 1 to 4, it goes from 1 key here to 3. So if you max out your orbs free to play, you're getting 7 keys. Now, I don't think that's worth it, but it is an interesting addition. Like I was saying 5 earlier, it's actually 7. So that's something. But again, I wouldn't do that. Anyway, if you add up the total number of keys, you get 7 here, you get 26 here, so that's 33, and you can get another 20 for spending $200. That's here, so a total of 53. And that's slightly more than the cap has been in some previous events, but not by a lot. I think the usual cap's about 50, so 53 is a bit better, but not a lot. So yeah, overall, I don't think it is better than these events have been in the past because of the Prism Starries, because of a few extra keys, but it's not a lot better. It's slightly better. And because you can normally, on big events, you can buy a $130 relay and get this tier of rewards unlocked. Here it's $200. And I don't think the extra stuff is worth the extra $70. Like, you could do 3 of the events like we've just seen in Chinese New Year or Christmas or whatever for the cost of 2 of these, and that's just better. Like the extra Prism Starries and a couple Reverie keys don't make up the difference. So I would not go for this overall. But here are the packages I was talking about. This is the 30 and 70 and 100. And yeah, like, they're not terrible, but they're really nothing special, and you can do a lot better. So I would not go for these. It's not a great buy. The only other thing available this week that makes any sense is the Splendid Awakening card. And this, I've often seen the advice of buy it on the last day of the event so that it's available to carry over into whatever future event is 4 weeks down the line, because usually there will be an Awakening component to that. And historically, DH has actually followed through on that. Like, if you'd bought the previous Awakening card, you would have gotten free Awakens for most of Chinese New Year, which obviously would have been pretty valuable to you in terms of maximizing the event on the cheap. So if you are going to buy the Awakening card, try to do it on the last day. But it's sort of a mid-tier choice. Like, if you like Awakenings, if you get value out of it, then great. It's not a must buy though. And then lastly, there are these value packs, which are pretty basic value packs. They've got train tickets. They've got the lollipops that don't really do anything for you this week. I wouldn't go, yeah, like none of this stuff is great. It's all right, but you can do a lot better than all right with your money. So I wouldn't go in on this event. It's just not quite got it, which is normal for after a big event, like especially Chinese New Year being one of the big events. I thought it was disappointing this year, but it was still large, and they tend to do quiet weeks after that. So I'm not surprised it's a week. You can tell I'm not scripted when I say things like that. You can tell like this wasn't supposed to be lighting the world on fire, so that's fine. But yeah, it's sort of mid. Save your money, save your stuff. There'll be a big event the week after for Valentine's. Probably not huge, but there'll be stuff. So yeah, that I think is where you want to be looking next. So also, one other thing that's worth noting is that this is related to the Chinese New Year event, not to the upcoming event. But you will see that they have comments about adding 300 Lucky Fulu to the event. Now, when I first read that, I thought what they meant was 300 of the fires. So you could roll 300 more times. That is not what this means. This means that there are 300 more lucky codes that can pay off. But if you look at the event, they use the 12 Chinese zodiac symbols as your 12 rolls. So there's 12 times 12 times 12 different ways you can do that. That's 1728. But they were giving us 9 a day for 7 days, which is 63. So there was 63 out of 1728 chances of hitting, which is like 3%. There's a reason why nobody was getting any lucky rolls. So they added 300 more combinations. So now there's 363 you can roll out of 1728, or about 20%. So that's definitely an improvement. But this is not what it looks like. And actually, in my first recording of the video, I was talking about how this was great and it was more exciting than the upcoming event. It still might be a little more exciting than the upcoming event, but it's not nearly as good as you might think from reading a note like this. So be aware that that's what that means. I logged into the game and tried to claim and realized I didn't get it. So yeah, Lucky Fulu does not mean your rolls. It means the chances of getting bonus rewards from your successful rolls. So be aware of that. Anyway, thanks. I'll talk to you again next week, and we'll go over the Valentine's Day event. Until then, have a good one. Bye.